Yay! Aloha! And welcome to Wisdom Dialogues with Hope Johnson, coming to you from Hawaiian Paradise Park on the beautiful, majestic Big Island of Hawaii. Yay! Yay! Someone was just asking me what island I was on, and I was telling him, and I was just explaining it to him. I was like, it is the most beautiful, green, abundant area ever. It's my favorite place. It's a really fun uh feeling like, wow, I live in my favorite place. This is so fun. But I noticed that it's been like that for me. Like I live in I whatever place I'm in, I just that becomes my favorite place until it doesn't. And then I'm moving, right? And I find myself moving. It's funny. All of a sudden, a new favorite place comes into my awareness. Next thing you know, I find myself there. Ah, but it's just a matter of enjoying what is, which is not what you think it is, right? It's not anything that you made it. So if anything seems antagonistic to you about where you live, where you work, what you do, all that kind of stuff, it's given you for your enjoyment. And the same thing is awakening. I say it's all for one thing, it's all for awakening. Awakening is also, has to do with your enjoyment. Can you enjoy because of who you are, irrespective of what seems to be? Really, that's the kind of like the work, if you want to call it work, the work you do toward waking up is just your willingness to enjoy who you are, notwithstanding anything that seems to be made apparent on the surface. I mean, that's always what it's given you. Notice when you're just talking with a friend and maybe they make a remark and it doesn't quite feel right. Something doesn't feel quite right. It's like as soon as you admit that you're not seeing, you have not judged properly because you haven't judged with the spirit, you haven't judged with reality. You're using your own judgment to make the situation a problem. See, it's always asking for you to go deeper into play. So that feeling, that upset feeling, like maybe they might say something to you like, hey, your hair looks like it got shorter, and you're self-conscious about your hair, so you're reacting to, you know, oh shit, does my hair look like it got shorter? And feeling like this feeling, and then just like let yourself relax into that feeling, relax into it so you can be playful with it. Because see, the underlying issue, that self-conscious issue, that needs to be seen and embraced and kind of played with. It's a silly thing to be self-conscious, but to you it's not silly when you're feeling it like that. That's your reality. So someone says something like, oh, hey, you look like you gained 5 pounds, or whatever the story is. Hey, it looks like you got a little bit more wrinkly since the last time I saw you, and you sense yourself react, or say it's something else. Yeah, I saw that last job that you did, and gosh, it was really shitty or something. Just like watch your reaction to whatever is arising in your experience and be willing to play with it, right? Because it's not personal, but you have to be taking something personal to be making it personal. And when it comes down to it, it's like, who cares? It's like, okay, what if all your hair is gone and then you're bald? Like, you're still the same. Like, I was telling Ann I was going because my birthday was just this past week. I was telling Ann, yeah, I'm 50 now. And she's like, it's still the same. You're still Hope. Yeah, and it's the same also if I have no hair. It's like I'm the same freaking broad. It's not like, oh, now I gotta hide myself in shame because it is like not, you know, or like I don't know, maybe. Oh, I met a friend this week who had said she thinks she has scabies. She doesn't know what it is. There's some shit all over her arms, right? And it's like, and I'm like, oh, really? Because she was telling me that because she was like, I don't know if you want to hug me. I know you say that nothing's real, but I don't know if you really want to hug me. And I go, oh man, do you want me to kiss those things? I would love to. And she's like, okay. And I just kissed them up for her, you know. And it's like, that's the thing. They're just for play. These things that just pop up, they're for play. It's supposed to make you feel like, oh, I got to find a solution to this. I got to get a solution. I'm sure people love it. I'm over here kissing this friend's scabies, right? And then I go around and I'm kissing everyone on the lips. It is so funny because it doesn't really mean anything. And we make it mean something. I just don't have one qualm about getting next to something that's supposedly contagious because I know it only comes from my mind. It's like my mind is clear that it only comes from my own mind. So if I need to get scabies, then I'll get them. There's no way I can avoid it. I'm not going to be able to avoid it by trying to separate myself from scabies. Oh, don't touch me. I don't want to catch the scabies off of you. Uh, your hair seems to look exceptionally good today. Oh yeah, Anne was saying the same thing. Yeah, I had it in a bun all day, and then right before Wisdom Dialogues, I just took it down. I go, oh, that fucking looks good. So thanks for noticing. Yeah, I had a friend tell me I love this too. It's so fun. I really enjoy it. I enjoy this friend so much too. I had a friend tell me, oh shit, because I told her I got highlights, right? I don't know if you guys noticed, but my hair is not as oily as it's been. So the magical trick of getting highlights to eliminate oil seems to work. Most people can't tell that there's anything different because she tried her best to match it to what was already the color. So no or minimal color change. And then well, she said that it damages your hair just enough so that you could like have drier hair, not oily hair. And it seems to be working. So that was really cool. So I shared it with a friend. I'm like, yeah, this thing seems to be working. She's like, oh, I can't believe, or something. She's like, you're killing your hair. You don't even, I wouldn't go down that path. And she goes, look, you already have all these dead ends. And I'm like, I do? And I look at it and I'm like, I don't see any dead ends here. Like by the definition, I mean, are you talking about like it's split at the end, right? That's what a dead end is, because these all look blunt to me, you know. And it was like, okay, if you, I go, yeah, the thing is too, like if I get dead ends, I don't really give a shit. I can just get a haircut. I don't give a fuck. I will have a cute little short pixie thing going. I don't care. Like my fucking my fucking shine worth, whatever you say, is not coming from my hair. Or any other thing that seems to be on the surface. It's not coming from anything like that. It's all of the value in a person comes from their radiance, which has nothing to do with anything on the surface. It doesn't matter, your radiant being, and to the extent that you're not covering that up with self-conscious thoughts, you glow, right? It's like it's those thoughts that set up your experience. Those kinds of thoughts that set up your experience. Like, oh, I don't want him to see me like this. Like, let's say you got one of them is my son Blaze, with a sore on the lip. He would have this repeating sore on the lip. And, it was a lesson for sure. Like, just like you got a sore on your lip, you got a freaking sore on your lip. It's like you get used to that sense, like, oh my gosh, I'm afraid someone's gonna see it. And it's like, ah, okay, someone could see it. We could have a joke about it. We could play around about it. We don't have to have a serious vibe about, oh, I just want to make this thing go away. Like that's that feeling, oh, I just want to make this thing go away. You know why it's given you? So you can access that feeling. It's the reason it's given you. Like through that feeling, you can have the release that you deserve and the awakening that comes with that. And really embracing those feelings is your salvation. So I always thank the thing, whatever it is. I just thank that thing. Even things that seem to last like a super long time, like this one seems to be like almost disappeared at this point. But it would come back. I would find myself putting something else on, try something else, try blocking on it, try different things. I've made like a whole area around here like all bruised, just getting some circulation in here before. And it's like, who knows? Like the cycle, whatever cycle it's going through, I let that be the thing. And I just embrace all the feelings because you get so many opportunities. Oh, I just wish this thing would go away. I don't shame anything for thinking like that. That thinking is just not something I need to pursue. That's all. That thinking and feeling, they just arise in reaction to things that appear to be happening on the surface. You get a load of different things, different changes. I notice, perceiving different changes, like some hangy skin kind of shit and stuff like that. And it's like, whoa, what the heck? That's not me. And it's like, whoa, it never was me too, to begin with. And also getting those perceptions and reacting to them. The reaction is the road. It is the way. So it's like, yes, let me feel that. And it doesn't mean that whatever that is, whatever perception we're getting, it's not going to be healed. The perception actually comes from the mind. So if the mind wants to keep on perpetuating this dread idea and succumbing to, oh, well, that's the way it is. It's not like you have to succumb to, that's the way it is. That's the way it isn't. It's a dream. And so the reactions are arising for you to undo the dreaming. And then you're not caused to keep on reliving this sense that you separated from your home. Any kind of sickness, any kind of disease that you perceive, any kind of deformity that you perceive, that's all projected from the sense of separation. So get the feeling reaction. The feeling reaction is good for you. That's the thing. That's what makes the perception even something to be enjoyed. Here's the thing. You can't escape dreaming until you can enjoy the play. Yeah, you're enjoying dreaming to the fullest as you're escaping it. That's how it is. See, if you're rejecting the dreaming, you're actually holding yourself in dreaming. So there's nothing here to be resisted because nothing is happening. I used to drive myself crazy. I remember I used to think I could stop the reaction. I'm learning to lean in. Very nice. So what a blessing. What a relief, huh? That you don't have to stop the reaction, right? Get that feeling. It's like a ride. So right now I was sharing with Ann, you guys know I'm doing block therapy, right? So always loving it. Just, oh my gosh, like what a week with it. What a birthday week too, hanging with my sister. Oh my gosh, my sister Tina. It was so much fun. And I just get in there and do like a hour and a half to 2 hours, early in the morning, even when I'm partying with my sister and stuff, and loosening things up. And I've been on this core one. I've been doing this core rib cage one. It's a series, and I got to day 11 today. And I got on my side and I went into the waist area, but right below the lower ribs and above the hips. And I was in there and I was on the side and I was doing a twist and it was lovely. And then all of a sudden, pop, my whole lower rib went boom. I don't know where it went or what went on, but man, it was a shocker. And I just popped off that thing. And so, the reason that occurred to me right now is because, there's definitely a sense of pain, some pressure. When I cough, when I laugh, it's kind of intense. Sitting in this position is actually really nice. Just having it really open. So what I notice with that is not trying to protect it. Like I'll notice the sense is, or the tendency is to get this tightening around the area where it's open right now, and it feels tender and painful in certain directions, and a little bit of pressure when I breathe like that. To not wrap around it with this tension, and all that is noticing the breath, noticing how I'm breathing, because I'll definitely tense up with some breath, and I see how that's such a habit to whenever I'm in a thought pattern. It always has to do with a thought pattern. Anything else, it's not anything else. For that area to tense up down there, the kind of like it was already protecting something. And I even noticed recently in a picture where it looked kind of like a little bit jacked right there at the lower ribs. And so now there's a huge opening there, and just letting it to be met with the awareness, which is basically when you're breathing, and you're breathing in a relaxed way, it's just your breath is just coming up into the ribs and it's expanding the ribs. So that's getting awareness to it. That's allowing it to be exposed to the light, which manifests in the world as blood, oxygen, nutrients, to be able to be flooded to that area, and just make it, part of the whole system again, because it's kind of like it's been blocked off. It's like there's been this glue holding ribs together in place, and then all of a sudden that it got hotter and hotter, and it warmed up, and it just like released. And there's immense freedom in it too already, even though that the release is fresh and it's feeling tender. There's this immense freedom, and just allowing this tendency to contract that area. And see, I'm kind of like doing this motion where my shoulders coming forward like this, because that's what I feel like it is. It's like this tendency, and I think this is common in a lot of people. Just like a lot of people don't really notice what they're doing as far as how they're holding themselves in space, basically. So I'm like noticing that there's a tendency for this shoulder to come forward and this rib to wrap around and kind of twist. And that was part of it. I've always felt, not always, but in recent years, felt when I stretch out like that, there's a catch down there. And now that catch feels like it's wide open. So that tunes me in a lot to what my habits are, and how my habit is for the shoulder to come forward and go like that. So then when the mind is tuned into, oh, that's actually a sick tendency. That's actually a sick tendency. See, it's kind of like this thought that's got me twisted, right? So when the mind is tuned in like that, oh, that's actually a sick tendency, that thought can't go forward, because I shared before, every thought has a particular breath pattern, right? Well, every thought also has a particular posture. And so when you start following the thought, that posture follows. It's such a blessing to see the and not the, and the laughing. I don't know if you guys noticed may not seem as deep as normal right now. Uh, because I don't have to feel I don't have to feel more pain than is comfortable for me. That is one thing that has really come, clear to me. I don't have to experience more pain. Like I'm in charge of how much pain I'm going to be perceiving, right? It's basically you know, when I'm laughing, I can laugh much deeper than I'm laughing right now, but I'm kind of at the threshold of the amount of pain that I want. And that amount of pain feels like it's healing. It feels like it's manageable, right? So I can use that sensation for healing. I don't have to go beyond that. And like, you don't need any kind of nervous system, like, oh my God, reaction. You know, it's kind of like calm, easy, accessing the pain, right? Accessing it with awareness. Like I was sharing with Anne earlier, when I just talk, I could feel the vibration of my voice very much in that area now. Like normally I feel the vibration of my voice, especially in my column. If my mind is very still, I could feel it in the whole body. I could feel the vibration of my voice. But in this area in particular, where that rib separated from the other rib, that's what it feels like. Feels like one rib just separated because they get glued together and stiff. Okay, I could just feel it. Every word just vibrating there. It's like, ah. And it seems like some kind of nectar is releasing from there too, almost like it's something juicy being released. So, but when that popped out like that, it was like, whoa, okay. I went straight to the Epsom bath. I did not keep on working on my ribs. Pamper, pamper, pamper. Love it up, love it up. Oh, it is a psychedelic feeling though. Woo. Ah, I'm glowing. Thank you. I can feel it. Oh my gosh. I just feel so grateful. And that's really what it is. It's not a circumstance at all. It's just willingness to be grateful. Right. Because that could be taken as, oh God, I gotta lay around. I can't do wisdom dialogue or something. Now, earlier today, I did not feel like I could stand up and pack my people's orders. So I just let Tony know, you know what? It feels good to sit down. It does not feel good to stand up. Can you help me? And then it was so fun. He just let me boss him around. And I still got to write my little notes to the people because I could sit at a desk, no problem. But standing up felt like a little bit more pressure than I want. Probably not at this moment. Probably be cool now. But yeah, all things work together for good always. Someone was asking me, we're going through this major hard time. What wisdom do you have to share about that? Well, it's like when you're willing to see that all things are working together for your good, that's it. You got it. If whatever it is working together for your good. So last week I was getting this sense like, oh my God, everything is getting hangier. Like my freaking arms are getting hangier. My ass is getting hangier. Everything is getting hangier. So I got that sense that everything is getting hangier. And then I'm like, wait a minute, I know this pattern, and it's like, it's pattern runs around so much. It's so funny. Wait a minute, I know this pattern. And it's funny because when it comes back around, it like tries to hook you like, I'm new. Like, this is new. You're not new. I've been talking about this for years. There's nothing new about it. Oh, but now you're 50, and it was so funny because the next freaking week, I was like, holy shit, everything just totally firmed up to more firm than it was from before. I was like, holy shit, this shit is hanging. Right. And it's so funny because it just goes back and forth like that. And like, you'll get your hopes up like it's going to stay like that. Like you're going to have the perception now. Okay, now I'm beyond that point where I'm going to have the wrinkly again. I'm just going toward firmer and firmer. It's not like that. It's always going back and forth because it's consciousness, and that's how it is. It's just wavering back and forth. It's always like, oh yeah, well, what about this? And it's like, just fucking enjoy whatever it is. Oh, well, what about, how about some skin cancer? My son's cracking up because, like, Mom, actually, what the fuck is that on your arm? And I'm like, I think most people would call that skin cancer. He's like, oh, you're just gonna cruise around with skin cancer for years. I'm like, oh, you're just gonna go get someone cut it out? I mean, like, really, it's the same thing. I don't feel like going and getting someone cut it out. I'm not scared of it. Let's put it this way. I'm playing with it, right? I'm playing with it. I'm enjoying it, right? If I go get it cut out, how will I see where it goes? I want to see what's going on with it. Plus, I've heard that shit is like whack-a-mole. You take one off and another one pops up somewhere. Get another one going. No thanks. Especially, I'm not wearing a mask. Really going up there. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, can I get this thing? This thing looked like it might be cancer. Can I get this thing just cut off? And it's like if you go in there and you don't want to get it cut off, they need to cut some of it to test it to see if it's cancer. So you might as well just get the whole thing cut off, right? And I'm like, but I'm not wearing a mask. Then you're just gonna have cancer. And I'm like, okay. So yeah, I just like played the whole thing out already. I have plenty of friends who have had cancer, and they don't, that haven't done anything about it like that, right? One of them got that kind of thing, same kind of deal. She made her own ganja stuff, and then she went in the sun extensively every day, like 8 hours a day. She went in the sun. She's like, I know the sun is good for it, and that's like the opposite of what they tell you should do, right? But she's like, after a while, there's no thing about it. And, her perspective on it was that was an area where things that need to be expelled are being expelled. So I'm not going to shut off the expellation process or whatever it's called, right? I'm not going to shut that off, like wherever it's coming out to be, doing its thing. Who knows? You shut it off right there, then what? Maybe it needs to come out somewhere else. Where is it going to come out next? Maybe on the corner of your lip. Have the perception people think you got herpes. But yeah, all those things, I've my brother-in-law got paralyzed, like, I don't know, some years ago, right? And it's like, as long as there's a sad story about it, it keeps it in a certain vibration, right? When there's this hope, see, and that's misplaced hope too, to hope for him to get better. It sounds unreasonable. I know. It sounds unreasonable to the untrained mind. It totally sounds unreasonable to say that. But when you hope for someone to get better, first of all, you're thinking that they're really the way you perceive them. So it's like you're trying to make them the way you perceive them first, and then hoping that they will get better. The thing is, having the perception of a paralyzed is for healing, and it is for play. It needs to be enjoyed. That's how you see through things. You see right through it. You can have the perception of paralyzed, but be enjoying. That is a major blow to the ego, because to the ego, you can't be enjoying that. Right? But that's really what it's for. And you see the people that do enjoy, like you see some people with no arms and no legs, and they're enjoying, and what are they doing? They're having a good ass time as a stump. No arms, no legs. Can you imagine? What are you doing? Person's having a good ass time. Why not you? With your fucking sore on your lip or your hair that got short. Like, who cares? Like, what? And the other thing is, whatever you seem to have, when you're willing to play with it, it's like more is given you to play with. You know, or you can say not even necessarily more as in more stuff and stuff like that, but the experience is like more, it becomes more and more playful because that's who you are. You don't need more stuff to be who you are. You don't need more stuff to be playful. That's not where it is. You don't need things to go your way to be playful. That is not where it is. It's basically forgiveness. Whatever the thing that seems to be a problem, that seems to be bringing you down, you know, maybe it's a thought about a friend or a wish for something, you know, wishful thinking, false hope. Just get that feeling. It's given you to be felt. Explore it, have fun with it. There's so much emphasis put on what it's going to take for us to feel better, when really we just need to feel better. Just allow ourselves to feel better in the moment. We put this kind of pressure on ourselves, like we can't feel better until it's just a thought. Maybe I'll feel better tomorrow when I get back to my routine, for instance. Like, you imagine you got your routine, then you have a permission slip to feel better. You know, we imagine there's supplements that can help us, right? And I don't have a problem taking supplements. I mean, I take supplements from time to time. I could say I find myself taking supplements. I never do anything. That's the thing. I don't do anything. You know, I was hanging out with one friend and I could sense that she was dealing with guilt, right? I could tell that she was feeling shameful about something, whatever word it is for it. There's a certain vibe about it, right? And I said, you know, what you seem to be doing, the main thing for you is to see through the judgments you're making about it. She's like, I know, I just feel so, and I'm like, that's perfect then. That's perfect for you. You know, if you, like, say you've been anti-pharmaceutical your whole life, right? And then all of a sudden you find yourself taking pharmaceuticals, and you know, you're constantly trying to justify you're taking pharmaceuticals that doesn't need justification. It's just that you know, you now notice that you wouldn't keep those judgmental thoughts about taking pharmaceuticals. That's all. It's giving you the experience for that. It's like the universe is giving you the experience so you can see through that judgment that you had placed, and you know, you could forgive that judgment you laid upon so many people, right? Now you find yourself taking pharmaceuticals. Hey, that's how it goes. And remember, the pharmaceutical, that's also a magic trick. That's a pill. It's all a pill, even if you're taking it as a liquid. Like a magic trick, magic pill. Whenever I'm taking any kind of pill or food or anything, I'm just acknowledging what it is. My mind is using this. It has no effects. My mind is using it, because look, it goes back and forth like this. Oh God, I got the magic thing. You know, the same friend months ago was like, oh gosh, I got the magic thing. I got the total thing and all excited about it, and then all of a sudden, boom, back into a hole, right? And then it comes, oh, thank goodness I found this now. This is the magic thing. Look it, you're looping back and forth. You're just looping. Watch. Look, when you watch the looping becomes less extreme. It becomes less and less extreme. The looping still goes around. The looping still goes around with me too, right? But it's not extreme because I'm not putting my faith in the thing. My faith isn't in the thing. It's game. It's a playful game. Told my friend, if you're taking pills, just take it playfully, joyfully, jovially, looking at how you're trying to judge yourself about it. Putting faith in it is judging yourself. It's taking power away from your mind. It's faking yourself out. You don't have faith in these things that seem, look at the term permission slip is the best. You're using them as a permission slip. You can make effects. Your mind is powerful to make effects. Your mind is powerful to use this thing, whatever it is, to make effects. Okay. If I don't want to perceive illness or suffering in my brother, then I'm not supposed to pray for their perceived illness or situation or heal or change for the better. That's praying from a sense that the illusion you're having is truth. Okay. When you're trying to get a situation to be better, okay, you're making the situation as you see it out to be the truth. We have to see that there is no truth to this image that we're projecting of sickness. There's no truth to this image of my brother-in-law who's paralyzed, apparently paralyzed. There's no truth to these images, and for that reason we can play irrespective of what seems to be. When you're asking for this change in the world, you're not asking for what can truly help you and your brother. What can truly help is a change in the perception, the way you're holding it, the way you seem to not want it and want it to change. That is about you. Those stories that you made up about the sickness, that's a story about yourself. It's pointing back to yourself. What you need is a sense of relief. You get released from these feelings that are like holding you to this pattern over and over again. And that release comes in the moment that you're willing to embrace the feeling. It's like you're running away from the feeling, trying to get a change in your perception like that, in the perceived world. The change comes from the mental state you are with it. Can you play with the situation as it is? It's like you sink into the situation is really a sensation. That's all it is. And you sink into the sensation as it is. This is how you're making the world for yourself. To sink into that sensation, you'll be released from all the pain and struggle. How do I pray for them? Because I always want to keep my brother, mother in my prayers. Okay, so every thought that ever crosses your mind, you can keep them in your prayers all day long. It's like this. Every thought that crosses your mind is one of those opportunities. If you're pursuing a thought and it hurts, that's what you're doing to your mother and your brother. That's all. That's prayer. Because if you're aware of that, then you're automatically going to stop doing harm in your mind. Basically, when we're following a thought, pursuing a thought, we're murdering. We're pursuing a thought. Just remind yourself, my thoughts don't mean anything. This is my favorite one. I think that might be verbatim of A Course in Miracles, one of the titles. I'm in a review one right now where there's 5 of them for review. I'm pretty sure one of them is these thoughts don't mean anything, something like that. And that's the thing. They don't mean anything. So there's no need to pursue thought patterns, pretty much you could say at all, because everything about this world is bullshit. So if you want to pray for everyone, don't follow thoughts about this world because they're bullshit. And it's not like you're never going to follow any thoughts. You're going to find yourself following thoughts, right? The thing is, with your awareness like that, you're going to be following way fewer. And in those openings, you get awareness, you get wisdom comes in. You can hear the voice of your guide, because you're not engaged in all this chatter that's upholding a world where bodies come to die. Okay. Anything can be a placebo. That's right. This is my lesson for today. My meaningless thoughts are showing me a meaningless world. Nice one, Goda. I love that one. Exactly. Like when you just take whatever you're thinking to a thought like that, you have just blessed everyone you loved. And do that over and over again. That's prayer. It's kind of like you're dead when you follow a thought, right? Notice it, like what I'm talking about with the body posture. Notice what goes on, the way the tongue changes. Akea was mentioning to me about how she realized her tongue was just wild, just totally wild. And just noticing what's going on is like, your tongue changes position, your posture changes. I just like to notice how my twisting action happens. And just in noticing that, it just goes back automatically, because it feels better to be in alignment, right? Feels better to feel in alignment than to feel all decrepit, like I'm gonna get what I want. Oh my God. So I spent the weekend in a pool, turned red like a lobster, but only from about the top of my boobs to about 6 inches below my hips. It was fabulous. Nothing peeled. Not yet. We'll see. Let's see if I can show you guys a tan line. Oh yeah, look at that. A little bit. Thank you. People are like, what? You're burning your skin? First you're talking about being hangy, and then you're going out there and burning it. Yeah, that's how it goes. It's a funny story. One of my friend's mom admonished me and my friend because we were sitting outside smoking in the sun. We're all red across here. You girls are too old to be putting your face in the sun like that. What are you girls thinking? You can't be doing that. We're like, yeah, all that beauty and self-care, you can only take that shit so far. Sometimes you just have to say, fuck it, go smoke in the sun. Oh gosh. Just trying to protect this thing is funny. That's really interesting. Just trying to protect it. And it's because noticing, like today in this whole like 11 days, I've been diving right into my ribs onto a wooden block on my ribs, right? I've been getting real deep into there, noticing that there is that tendency to hold that stuff so that it doesn't get seen. Like the organs seem to be like hiding in there and it gets all scrunched up and stuff, that it doesn't get seen. And I notice this tendency to kind of like block it off. But then when you open it up, you're like, ah, it's the same with any upset feeling. Like, you know, you get the sense that you, I don't know, whatever your apparent problem is, bring that problem to the surface. You get the sense of that, and there's a feeling about it. And on the surface, it's like fearful. It's like, oh my God, I got to do something. I got to run and figure this out really fast. And then beneath that, you sit still and watch the thoughts that say, I got to figure something out. You know, like, can you imagine just being still within the thoughts that are saying, holy shit, this just happened. I got to figure something out. Just being still there and just watch them and notice what kind of feeling reaction that is. Because all these things are just on loops. They're just patterns repeating again and again. And it's not, and it's never something new. There's never anything new. It just seems new. Things seem like they're new. But nothing is really meaningful. Even if something seems to occur where, oh, your whole life just changed, that's still not meaningful. Nothing about it is meaningful because you are never changed. And wherever you go, you're the one making it what it is. You're the one giving it whatever meaning it has. So with that, you see, if you decide everything's healing, then that's what it is. I decide for that. That's just how it is. And you're not hoping that it will go a certain way. That thought of hope may arise and you notice the feeling behind it and you're like, nope, that's not for me. Nope, I don't hope it gets better. That's not really for me. I don't believe in that. You know, you just deny it any truth. But you can feel it. You can feel that feeling of what it is like to hope for something different than what seems to be right now. It's not a feeling of contentment, is it? It's not a feeling of gratitude, is it? Right? As things seem to be, are how you wanted them to be, to try to convince yourself that you're really separate. And you see it like that, you notice the trick, and it's fun. It's fun to play with. Someone's like, oh, I see you lost a tooth, for instance, and you were hoping no one would notice that. Like maybe it was far enough back in your mouth that they wouldn't see it, right? And all of a sudden you get a reaction. There it is. There's the identity. Thank you. Thanks for pointing that out. There's the identity arising. Oh no. Akea joined. Aloha, Akea. Constance, are you ready to come on? If you're ready, raise your hand. I'm ready to take you. Constance has something to share today. She did it. There's her hand. Okay. Yay, there you are.
Am I here?
You are here. You're here now.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so last week, I forget how it came up, but you were talking about the Timon and Pumbaa thing, and your son talking about like, yeah, that's mom's thing is like, no worries, right?
Yep.
That whole meme.
From the Lion King. From the Lion King. Yeah. Okay, was in that thread too.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was something like my uncle just killed my dad and now he's trying to kill me. And they're like, have you tried just not giving a fuck?
Yeah, and I was Hakuna Matata. I mean, I'm a child of the 90s. I listened to that Lion King soundtrack over and over and over again and loved
Right.
that as a kid. And definitely had already thought about it a lot and was just like reliving in the beauty of Hakuna Matata. And I was telling my husband about it, and he always gives me the best reflection. He goes, yeah, but what about the rest of the story? And I was like, oh yeah, like, well, he was kicking it like the whole kingdom is burning down and blah blah blah. But then I realized, just like we don't have a choice. Like,
Yep.
Hakuna Matata was the medicine, just like how ganja is the medicine. You don't live there, but it's like you're saying, it's this back and forth. It's this loop, just like breathing, like this kind of like ebb and flow in and out. And it's got me. I was making all these connections about, how Christ talked about being in the world but not of it. And that's not, you're not identifying with the story. You're just like getting into the drama of it when it's dramatic, and it's not, it's not personal, right?
Yeah, exactly. He goes
Making
in there, he goes in there
really
and
amazing. It took him being like, well, yeah, but like, what about the rest of the story? And I was like, yeah, actually, he fell in love, and that it was the love that you would say, oh, well, he did have a choice, but really, no, he didn't have a choice. But it was the Hakuna Matata medicine that like opened him up to the love, right? Instead of being like just fearful of like, oh, someone's out to get me, right?
well, there was nothing for him to do at that time.
Right, exactly.
Right? He was not useful. Everything needed to go through what it went through first. And he wasn't called to action. It's like when you're called to action, you're called to action. Either way, Hakuna Matata.
Exactly. Right. You don't really have a choice in the matter.
Right.
Exactly. And it reminds me of a quote that you said once, something about like, well, it's about like observing and just not being confused about like that you're making the choices here, just being confident in the choice, who's actually guiding things here, right?
Yes. Yeah. And whatever, even if you're talking about choices that came out of being guided in your mind by the ego, once that choice is made manifest, it's perfect.
Exactly.
Right? There's not any, as soon as anything's made to manifest, that's just for your enjoyment.
Exactly. I gotta say, the blocking stuff was a little painful, but what's amazing is I've just implemented it into my yin practice and my hot practice.
Yeah.
Sorry to change subject there real quickly, but yeah.
Oh no, thank you for letting me know. That's freaking awesome. I know it's like with that you have to go slow.
Yeah.
Right? Like you go slow and ease in and things start to soften up and things can get intense. Like I think for most people, if they got that rib release like I got this morning, they would not be walking around. They'd be like, holy shit,
Totally.
Yeah. So it's
kind of your own way, big part of it, right?
Yeah. It's it's a meditation. It's a total, just like in yoga too, same kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's like using it as a meditation and not as something like where you're trying to get from point A to point B with your body or something, That's like a lot of it. Like people only exercise if they feel like they're going to get something out of it. And the thing is, the practice itself is the thing. It's not like what you're going to get after it. The practice itself is the thing. If that's not the thing, if you're not enjoying that, then it's got no use.
It's like physics, or I guess metaphysics, like inward outward, never like outward inward. Like you're always confusing things or creating more illusions when you're thinking something is coming from outside of you. That's
yes. Yes. You know me, I'm hardcore. I like to go deep.
I know you do. It's fun.
Yeah. What?
It's fun to watch, right?
Yeah, it's like, whoa. And I get a rib relief, release, and I'm like, yeah, this
I
is
love
awesome.
That's amazing. But that was my revelation, anyways. Kind of
I
like
love it.
come round
Thank
circle,
you.
right? Looped
Yeah.
around.
What?
I could kind of looped around to all of that, making connections to all the things. But that was definitely that's my little testimony for today. I think this is the first time I've come on.
Oh, thank you for coming on. It's so much fun.
Yay.
Thank you
I
for
and meeting
thank
you in
you for-
person definitely helped me for whatever reason to come on.
what helped you?
Meeting you in person first, for sure.
Oh, oh yeah, that was fun. Let's do it again.
Yeah, no, definitely. Well, I have no doubt it'll happen again.
So lovely to see you. Okay.
Yeah.
Aloha.
Aloha.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, so you see how I love what Constance brought up about the Lion King movie, because you see how there was nothing for him to do. So what do? Get all worried? It's like when there's something for you to do, you're just doing it, you know. There's not a there's even if you think you make a choice in it, there's no question about it. You're just doing what you seem to do, right? So when you're waiting, you can call it waiting in a way, waiting to be called to action in a way that's relaxing. You can see and manifest exactly what you need to see. It's like when you're wanting though to hide from it and go, oh, everything's fucked up. It's terrible. My life is terrible. And then you're just setting up this terrible thing after terrible thing. And it's not even really in the thing. It's actually in the way you're taking the thing. Like none of those things are terrible. But you just get in this groove of thinking things are terrible over and over and over again. And then it's like you can't see your destiny. It's like the place your king, what was that kingdom called? The Pride Land. I think it was called the Pride Land. Pride Land just goes to shit and then it's got no savior, right? Because you were down on yourself all that time. You couldn't even see your calling. Oh, yay. Nael. Yes, we're here. Isn't that fun? All right, update on my Karen neighbor. I stopped being a victim and loved my neighbor as myself. Yay. She even asked me for help on her window. I've been nice to her. Thank you, Hope. Oh my gosh, you're breaking patterns. Okay, so check it out, Niall. It's like, remember, this too shall pass, right? The neighbor is likely to irritate you again because that's her job, right? So you just fall back into forgiveness again. Just let yourself sink back into it because you know it feels so good. You know it's her job to bring up problems for you, your problems, the ones you put in place. Yeah, yeah, that's awesome. Relaxing was this first, for sure, was the first step. Yeah, I know. I remember years ago, Constance, when I met you, you were into that yin yoga, and I could just tell. I love your face. Like just the look on your face, I could tell you look like a yin yoga girl, you know? You look like you spend some time in relaxation. So thank you for that. It's the most productive thing. Is the most productive thing. What's the opposite of that? What's the most unproductive thing? I would say worry, right? Doesn't have to be exactly that. Nothing I say is true. But just look, what is the opposite? Right? I'm a problem case, I guess. I like going deeper, we're learning more. Well, yeah, the thing is, you're not a problem case. You're using this world to see through it. You're using this world to see through the thought that you separated yourself so you could see reality. As long as you're perceiving a body, people are going to seem to trigger you. It's perfect. You want that. You go to gratitude for it. You're helping them and you're helping you. You know, you're the same one And in a dream, you're seemingly separate. So you close that gap of separation whenever you're willing to see truly. That doesn't mean that you have to even help your neighbor fix her window. You know, you could say no to that and still be in a connection, right? You could find yourself putting up big boundaries and saying, I don't ever want to hear from you again, neighbor, right? And still be using your perception of them for healing. It's not in the manifestation, it's in the way your mind is using that manifestation. You either use it to make the world seem more real to you, or you use the manifestation to reveal to you that the manifestation is made up by you. So you're making a choice all the time. And, you know, that's why Jesus said, this too shall pass, because like whatever you think you've got, maybe gotten to this certain plane, or maybe you've gotten your relationship a certain way, you know, it's like the mind is a trip, and, you know, consciousness in the mind is completely delusional. It sways back and forth. It's always swaying back and forth. It's like, oh, my partner, they're the best, and then like a couple of hours later, that fucker, you know, it's like it's always just like a crazy ass. So it's like not even getting attached to either side and just watching the fluctuation, right? Watching how it fluctuates. That's where the love is. It's in this willingness to hold the fluctuations and just let them play themselves out without trying to resist or attach to either side. Those are really both the same thing. You know, people try to attach to a certain state of mind, like I want to be a certain state of mind. And the more attachment you put on it, the more challenging it is, or it seems more challenging, because all challenge is for the ego. The more challenging it seems to be on the opposite side of that feeling. And remember, any feeling you have, it has an opposite. You're projecting the feelings. You're projecting these opposites. It's beneath the feeling that you projected where your comfort is. It's almost like a wellspring. It's beyond feelings that are triggered by this world. It's beyond the feelings that are triggered by this world. So whether you're experiencing an upset feeling or a good feeling, your real sense of self is beneath all of that. It's kind of like below that, because all those feelings are projected thoughts making the feelings, okay? Even if it's a thought about reality, it's a thought that is also an illusion, okay? So every thought that's an illusion has to do with the body sense. You're beneath that. You're beneath even all the thoughts that I'm sharing right now. It's like you're that silence, and in that silence, you know, you can hear the voice of the spirit informing you about what the world really means. So you don't have to make any meaning of it for yourself. Your downloads and insights come through that quietness, come through relaxing with whatever it is, relaxing beneath all the thoughts and all the chatter. I mean, just you know, taking the thought, my thought for the day, or one of them, these thoughts don't mean anything. And what was Goda saying? Where is she up here? Yeah, you guys are chatting like mofos today. I love it. Oh my gosh. Oh, because it starts with an F. Okay. My meaningless thoughts are showing me a meaningless world. Taking thoughts to those thoughts just throughout the day. Because, you know, you're constantly making things meaningful that aren't meaningful. Whenever you're thinking about a person, place, or thing, something you did before, something in the past, something that you hope to do in the future, things that you wish for, things that you hope for, things that make you feel upset, whatever it is, all day long. For me, it's just bringing the thought to the truth, whatever that thought seems to be. It's just another thought. It's also an illusion, but it dispels the meaningless one. Okay? The thought that's meaningful is only meaningful because it dispels the meaningless one. Okay? And it points you to the truth. That's what makes it meaningful. Okay? So it's not the technique so much, like, like A Course in Miracles, it gives you a particular technique to follow. Every day there's a technique. Okay, do this for 5 minutes, do this for 5 minutes, apply this thought to this. Well, I know people who have been doing that for like 20 years and not seeing good results. And that's because the attention is toward the technique. It's not toward what it is for you. Like for me, my meaningless thoughts are showing me a meaningless world. That is a meaningful thought for me because whatever I'm thinking right now, it's out the window. It's like not even relevant. It's like, oh, that was so not relevant. I forget about it instantly. It seemed so relevant a second ago. It's kind of like when a friend of mine asked me, because, I got kind of charged up talking about COVID stuff. And she's like, well, I think all that is a bunch of bullshit. And I think that it's really stupid that you're talking about it and stuff like that. And I'm like, okay, well, we don't have to talk about that. She's like, are you sure? Because you seemed like it was really important to you just a second ago. And I go, well, things change fast. I know how to get fired up about something, and I also know how to put it down. Like I don't actually give a shit. It's not actually important to me. These energies will like grab me and I'll go, oh, and I'll kind of get fired up about something. But once I notice I'm fired up about something, it calms me down. Just noticing that I'm fired up about something. All of a sudden, I'm like, oh, if I want to stay fired up about it, I got to keep on using more thoughts to justify the thoughts I already put into the field. And it's like you just like release it all. There's no need to hold it or to try to defend it with more thoughts. And really, that's what we're doing all day long with these pursuing thoughts. We're justifying the thoughts that we have. I know this is true. Like my friend, I thought it was great that thought she saw split ends in my hair. Because she was sure that since I got highlights in my hair, I must have split ends. See, you got all these split ends. And I'm like looking for, and I'm like, I can't find one. It's good stuff. It's just like making something real to yourself. You're going to perceive it as if it's a reality for you. So see, it made him like that. See, like for instance, like if you're against eating cooked food or something, you think cooked food is bad for people. They're like, oh, that's because they cooked food. You're going to start perceiving stuff on them. Or they eat meat. Like if you're someone who's vegan or something, maybe like, oh, they perceive something and you say it's about the meat. That is an attack on your body, though. See, or you can look at a vegan person. I've heard a person saying a vegan person looked like they were gray or something. Yeah, someone was just sharing that with me. So I get all the shares. I love it. And someone who was vegan and they looked really gray, and somehow she was like, I need to eat some fish, and then she started having her color come back to her. It's like we are just making illusions all the time, making them seem like they're reality. I also have a vegan friend that lives right next door, or maybe she's vegetarian. She seems to be doing awesome. She's like my age. We're like born the same year. She seems to be doing totally awesome. We're meantime completely opposites. I eat mostly meat and dairy, bone broth, right? She doesn't eat any of that kind of stuff. We both look awesome. It has to do with happiness, right? It has to do with happiness. So if you're projecting, whatever you're projecting is taking shape. It's taking shape in your field, in your aura. right? So whenever you're projecting as if something can affect someone's body, you're making it as if your body's vulnerable to anything, staph, whatever. And it is as if it's vulnerable. So just don't project that vulnerability. Notice again, when we're talking about praying, that's your prayer in that situation. It's either vulnerability or invulnerability, your choice. Are you going to believe the thought that says their whatever disease is caused by their habits? That sets you up for that illusion. That is one of the crazy things that humans just automatically believe. And, of course, it looks like it's true, but it has no truth at all. We still need to deny truth to it because it isn't true and it's killing people, apparently. And the thought that your habits can be bad for you. Okay. With nothing ever being done and it just being a dream, how could any habit be anything? How could it be a thing? Why are we making it into something? Why are we making habits as if they have certain effects? That makes the habits actually continue. When you make it out to have a bad effect on you, that makes the habit actually continue. If you're not making it out like that, you could just see in the moment what works, right? You're noticing, you're just observing what works for what's conducive to constant joy and just being aware. And then the manifestation, it takes care of itself. I mean, perhaps those admonitions are good for people who don't want to realize that they're actually making the whole thing up, to say, hey, make sure you don't do any habits. But then what do you get? Like half of the people, or maybe more, are doing the habits anyways, apparently, right? Apparently doing the habits anyways, and then suffering all these effects of it. And everyone's like, oh yeah, it was the habit that got him. Yeah, it was a habit. It was a habit of thinking that physical habits can cause physical effects. Only mental habits cause mental effects. So sharing that with my sister about how there's no way what you eat can make you fat or thin. It's not a possibility, And she's so sweet because she'll just listen. But automatically it's right back to the counting of the calories, and trying to manage. People are like, Hope, I've heard you say that before, but that just doesn't work for me. I just have to get out there and I have to bust my ass or whatever they're doing. But, I think of it as bust my ass because people are trying to work up a really big sweat and get sore. That's one of the goals usually, is to get sore. And, I see people in this constant struggle. And it's interesting because it seems like I know the way out of the struggle, definitely know the way out of the struggle for myself. But a lot of people aren't interested in knowing the way out of the struggle. They'd rather stay in the struggle. I have one friend who got the block and she started doing block with me, and we were doing it for a while and we were having a great time. And then somehow for her, the block just doesn't keep on happening, right? It doesn't keep on, for her, it doesn't keep on happening. It's like, oh, I haven't been doing that. It's like, oh, there's not any problem. If you haven't been doing it, you don't really have a choice in whether you do it. Just notice. Because there's thoughts not allowing it. That's scary for the ego. Just to see what, you're like going in seeking these effects that are leading you to their cause, right? You could see it in the mind. You could see it. The stories will even present themselves right where you are releasing something on the block. The stories will even present themselves to be released. The ego, that's a scary practice. It's a really scary practice. We don't want to do that. God forbid we see what's holding this body in this weird alignment and causing it to grow in deformation. God forbid we see what's holding our heads as if it's placed in a vice grip all day long, right? You start going into your head and you start noticing, holy shit, everyone's head is kind of like squeezed, like a vice grip. But we're not aware of the pain because it's just covered up. And you go in and you start seeking around in there, you realize, holy crap, the thoughts that are running my life are basically holding myself in a painful posture. It's like twisted and held. And just like releasing that is so like, but I'll tell you what, approaching it, it feels like fear and pain. It's like at first, like for me, I had started out with like feather touches on it, just feather touches, little tiny, move around a little bit until it starts getting nice and liquidy and fluid, and all over the pineal gland too, like just like letting it press in there until it gets all relaxed in there, and you start feeling little bumps, little painful bumps in places, but they're able to release where there's this attention. It's just putting attention on the area where we're holding and noticing what's holding it there. The thoughts will just like show up. They're just holding it there. They're holding it in place. And you see them, they release, and you get physical manifestation of release through that. I found it to be a similar thing to yin yoga, Constance. It's just that with yin yoga, you kind of work up to that moment of where you feel it like that. You kind of work up to it through the poses. With the block, you just go right there. Just start out with that. It's whatever feels joyful to us. Even in our practice, it's whatever feels joyful. If it doesn't feel joyful, it doesn't feel good. There's no need to force yourself to do it. Just notice what you're using to prevent yourself from what's joyful for you. Notice how you're holding yourself in this way of being, like you can't have certain things. Like you can't have this relaxing sense. Even if you're thinking, okay, well, I can't have certain things. I want this $70 fucking necklace over there at New York Gems or whatever. And you're like, well, I can't really have what I want. Well, the thing is, what you want is a feeling like you think you would get if you had that necklace in your hand. That's what you really want, is a feeling that you would get. You can allow yourself to have that feeling right now. That thing won't give you the feeling. It never will. It's like a carrot and a stick. It's going to get you running after what you can actually have right now. Okay. And yeah, you won't care about a silly necklace. It's like a bauble. You don't need it. Okay. I seen my sister-in-law. This is not Elle again. I seen my sister-in-law that I've blocked and told her I want nothing to do with her and asked her to stay away from my family since she lies about me. But it turns out since then, I've seen her now 3 times at my family events. And worse, she listens to wisdom dialogues. What the fuck? That is awesome. I love it. Yeah. It's like none of that stuff even happens. It just really doesn't even happen. It's like we make it up. So it's like you get this sense that you told your sister in law or whatever, I don't want to fucking see you because you fucking lie about me or whatever. It's for comedy. It's nothing. See? It's like that could change. Anything changes really fast. Right? I love it when I get the sense someone's lying about me. That's my favorite. I get them all the time. I get used to it. Recently, someone came up to me and asked me if I was single, and I said no. They go, "Oh, people are talking about how you're single now, and how you're having a really good time being single." I'm like, "That's awesome." It's great. People talk. if it brings up any kind of feeling, thank you. It's fine. You like the foreplay, huh, Constance? That's why you like those. I know what you mean. That is nice. I know what you mean. It's super juicy. So isn't clothes just as silly as jewelry? Yeah, it's the same thing. Same thing. It's meaningless. So it doesn't matter if you have them or don't. If you have no clothes, you're naked, you're probably going to get some good vibrations off of that. Get some people wondering why you don't have any clothes on and stuff. Why do you get so upset? Because you want to see through the illusion. You've attached yourself to the situation. And you get upset because you don't want to be attached to anything because that's not your true nature. So you project an upset feeling so you can know that you're going down a path that isn't serving you in thought. That way you could back off that pattern. The upset feeling is letting you know that you're following a pattern that hurts. You can get released from that pattern right now. That's why you get upset. And telling lies about you, I mean, geez, that's just bringing up your attachment to being a separate self, to a self-image. Who cares what anyone thinks about your image? Who really cares? I freaking love it. People get all kinds of preconceived notions about me. It's great. I love just, being authentic, being as I am. And, I've always had a thing where people would be trying to stop that, trying to quell it, quiet it, put me down, whatever. I've always manifest people like that because it's fun. People try to get other people to, I don't know, do something bad to me or blackball me or stuff like that. And I just think it's fun. I think it's like a game. I don't do it back to them. I don't play games like that. I don't try to tell mean stories about them. Oh, so and so has this to say about you. Do you have any comment? Thank you. That's awesome. Did they get it wrong? No, no one got anything wrong. It's fine. Let people have their perceptions. It's fun. They need that perception of you. They need to have that perception. It's funny because I don't usually find myself in the presence of people that I have that energy with. It is just so funny, like living here in Pune, right? I'll just find that I won't see the person. It is a trip. And we see each other, so, seems like all of us see each other. It seems like a really small world here, right? It'll just be like, I just don't end up meeting the person. And then it's forgotten, and then we see each other again, and it's just like, don't even remember what the heck was seeming to be a problem, right? Unfriended them from Facebook, blocked them from Facebook, whatever. See them years later, no one even knows, no one even the wiser that there was there anything with them? I don't know. What is the difference from buying the jewelry or buying the clothes instead of getting the feeling? You don't have a choice in whether you buy the jewelry or the clothes. It's not relevant. You can get the feeling no matter what. Doesn't matter. You don't have to hold off on anything because you're not doing anything. You can't hold off on it either. See? You don't have a choice in whether you would buy either one, whether it's clothes or jewelry. It doesn't matter. It's always the feeling, though. What feeling are you after? Right? And that's the only reason it's ever given you. And it's always perfect. So it's just willingness to use it for that. That's all. If you're thinking, can you use more restraint on buying things? That's not relevant. You can't do anything like that. It could occur in your experience, but it's not of your doing. Because everything that you seem to do is only being made manifest for awakening, and it's maximally beneficial for everyone. You're not making those choices. You don't know what's maximally beneficial for everyone. So whatever you buy or seem to not buy or whatever, it's all the same. It's just that you don't need the thing for a feeling. The thing isn't necessary to get the feeling. That's what's to be seen. I mean, you know me. I say, man, if you like some nice clothes, freaking buy them. If you like some nice jewelry, freaking buy them. Not that you don't have a choice in that, but it's to be enjoyed. One of my friends said once, live it like you stole it. Like, yeah, freaking, just party, have fun. Some people misunderstand me when I say party. They automatically go to some cocaine party or something. But for me, it's like it's all a party. It's a one big party. All right. It's like we're all kind of like on the playground playing. We're acting things out. Some of us are acting more dramatic. Some of us are acting like we're insecure, right? Our minds go through these different cycles where we'll feel a certain way, a few minutes later feel another way, right? Giving us a variety of sensation. It's just a variety of sensation passing through. Everything that seems to be transpiring on the surface is only an effect of that variety of sensation passing through. It's not an effect on its own. It's not caused by anything else in the world. Even if you got the sense that you're vaccine injured, it's an opportunity. It's just an opportunity to demonstrate to your own mind that you're not going to buy into that story anymore. This is not a new story. It's the same story. That you could be damaged by something. Some of you have regret that you took the vaccine. That's just the same story of regret. It's not different. It's not new. It's a story of regret. That's what needs to be addressed. That's what leads to eternal life, not protecting this body. Your etheric body, the one that's basically it seems to me a good way to say it is born in consciousness, the etheric body. Okay, that's the body that keeps on generating another body for you to experience, right? That etheric body is more permanent. It's still not yourself. It's just keeping record of all the things. That's why people can tap into past lives. Just keeping records of all the things that seems to happen, right? But all the things that seem to happen are only a seeming happening in this moment. There is no past. So none of that stuff actually happened. And that etheric body that keeps on generating experiences over and over again, that needs to be purified. Once it's purified of all these beliefs that you can, all these ways you can get killed or hurt, or someone else can get hurt, or someone can break your heart and you're all vulnerable and stuff like that, it's going to have no meaning, no use. You don't need to be a reincarnating etheric body anymore, and you can see reality. It's only a matter of sight. It's only a matter of the sight being what's a good word for it? Defiled, you could say. It's like there's things that you're not seeing at all when you're seeing a separate world. These things that we think we see, that's not even sight. So the purification occurs through getting the feeling, through getting the healing through feeling. So there's a feeling reaction to everything that's being played out in the body sense and recorded in the etheric body. See, it gets recorded different when you're willing to feel the feeling and you're not rejecting the feeling. It gets recorded different in a way that undoes all of this attachment. It starts undoing the attachment, undoing the sense of what is it? Threat, like a family member telling lies about you, like it can be threatening. Threatening to what? This is not a threat. This is a blessing. And that's even if you told her not to talk to you. Okay, don't base it on your experience of what seems to be happening. Don't let that be the basis of anything, because that's not anything. There's always a choice being made. In this case, are you making it true that this person can threaten you? Okay. You can be experiencing yourself telling that person not to contact you, and watch what it feels like. Notice if you're making it true that that person can possibly threaten you. You might never know. You might find yourself like, never mind, just say whatever you want. It's fucking awesome. In fact, thank you for saying that stuff. Right? Say whatever you want. You can even say it on my Facebook page if you want. You're probably going to get blocked, but that's fun too. And then you can say all that stuff all over the internet on your own pages, and you can make groups and people can join in and you can talk about how bad I am. Right? I love it. I was raped at 13 by someone in the cult. He gave me Rofi. He was the teen shepherd. Nice shepherd. I thought I forgave him. I come to find recently that he has a program where he apparently helps young teens, aka I think molesting them. In my eyes, he is a pedophile. I seen him recently on Facebook, and I was disturbed that some of my friends have him as friends. My mind was tormented for a moment. I meditated, working on all of it. Could use some guidance on this particular challenge. Date rape drug. Okay. I thought I forgave him. I come to find out recently he has a program where he apparently helps young teens. Yeah. So good. Your whole thing here is just a reaction to it. All it has to do is with a reaction to it. I mean, who knows? You might find yourself, reaching out to him and saying, hey, Are you still giving people rupee drugs or something like that? Who knows? I mean, just like enjoy the process. No one's being harmed in any of this. And you never know. You could be called to be a someone who blows the lid off this thing or whatever. It's not any pressure on you that you have to do anything like that. It's not like that at all. There's no pressure on you. The thing is that you want to see it as it is and not as you made it. Now, everything that seems to have happened to you in the past didn't really happen. He didn't really do it. That's the forgiveness. The forgiveness is not, it's not like in closing your eyes to it as if, oh my gosh, I just made that up and he's never going to do it again. You have no idea. You have no idea. In the dream, he could be doing it again and again and again and again. That could be what he does all day long. Also, at the same time, anyone who he comes into an intersection with, even if he's giving them date rape drugs, even if he's raping them, that is a divine intersection. It's a divine meeting. It's also a divine meeting if someone else happens to be there breaking the whole thing up. See? None of the things that manifest on the surface are meaningful at all. That's why you can be played in any way. You can allow yourself to be played in any way. The main thing for you is you're getting relief from the sense that something's wrong. So meditation is really good. You're getting relief because, as long as there seems to be something wrong and you're pursuing that, you're actually projecting it. So you're giving more power to that kind of thing to manifest. You never know. The dude could have had a full-on transformation where now he's working with teens to let them know how to look out for situations like that or something. You never know, right? It could be, that's why it could be on either side and it's total chaos. So you can't know. So it's the same kind of thing like the Hakuna Matata thing. Okay, this guy who raped me, he's now got a thing on Facebook and he's probably raping a bunch of other boys. Have you tried not giving a fuck about that? Because really, it's the willingness to see through this thing that's being presented as reality that really allows for real changes to manifest. It allows for real changes. It's not a real change to let's say lock a person up because that's just one person. And there's not anything bad about that. A lot of the times when people are talking, people think I'm saying there's something bad about doing something. Like Lori, a couple up ago was saying, but you buy clothes. That has nothing to do with anything. Nothing to do with anything. It's not relevant. What we seem to do. Okay. What's relevant is how we would look at it, how we would hold the situation. So when you're getting forgiveness for yourself, you're allowing yourself to be released from this sense like something can possibly go wrong, like something can possibly come together for a bad or sinister purpose. It can't do that. Okay. It's all for the same thing. So it's like this. As long as there's unforgiveness for the molestation, as in making it like someone can harm another person, there's going to be more instances of that arising in your world, which you're projecting. So to see this clearly, it's a matter of taking that disturbed feeling. Okay. Notice you say, I was disturbed. That's good. You're feeling, now you know there's a disturbed feeling. That's what you get relief from. Remember, none of my thoughts mean anything. None of my thoughts mean anything. That's what takes away the projecting and allows whatever to manifest, whatever needs to manifest, to eliminate the requirement that people got to be raped. That's an ego requirement that we made up. And we keep on projecting it forward because we want to keep being disturbed. The thing is, if you see a disturbed feeling and you know that you wouldn't keep it immediately, it changes for you. When you are overwhelmed within the illusion of fear, how do you awaken from it? The overwhelmed is a sense. It's just a body sense. That's a sense. I mean, the overwhelmed is the means to awakening from it because it's just a body sense. There's a sense like something is amiss, and there's willingness to see that I'm projecting the sense. I'm even projecting the sense, and I'm only projecting that sense to show me that I'm going down a road that's not good for me. Okay, that's not it's not joyful for me. Let's say it like that. Now, it's easy to see there's a paradox here, because I'm always going, whatever seems to occur is good for you. That is for sure. And when you're going down a path of thought that's making you feel upset, that's showing you that's not good for you. It's not a thing that's happening. It's actually a way of thinking, a state of mind that's putting you deeper and deeper into fear, overwhelm, confusion, all those things. No matter how deep you are in it, though, it's still a body sense, and you have all power, all dominion over the body sense. There's nothing else going on here but a body sense playing out. I guess I'm confused about what I need to do. I had a law enforcement friend tell me I'm responsible to stop him. Okay, so here's the thing. You never need to be confused on what you need to do, because you always need to do nothing. Always need to do nothing. Okay? A law enforcement friend telling you you're responsible to stop him, that's also a meaningless thought. Let it play. I'm not saying not to do anything here. Let it play. You know what to do because you're doing it. Let it play like that. The pressure doesn't need to be on you. You know, you're putting a burden on yourself. You're weighing yourself down with this thing on your shoulders, and it's not necessary. Hakuna Matata. And let the action just spring from you when, how, if it does. Being detached from illusions. See? I was confused too, because the bauble wasn't to be bought, but instead to get the feeling. No, it's not that the bauble isn't to be bought. Let's say the bauble is a $70,000 necklace I'm using for an example, right? You don't seem to happen to have 70,000 to buy that thing, right? So it's like there's nothing to even consider buying there, right? In the first place, you don't have it. It's nothing to consider buying. It's just a sense that I want that. I want that. How does it feel? What feeling am I actually pursuing, right? It's not like there's a choice in whether you buy things or not. So it's not like don't buy that and just feel it. No, just feel it. Whether you have the money to buy it or not, right? Whether you seem to have the money to buy it or not, just feel what it is that seems to be missing. See, it's not just like something comes up to buy. It's actually a feeling like I wish I had that thing. See, it's different when something comes up to buy and you're buying it. There's not a feeling like I wish I had that thing, right? There's this wishing for something that seems like it's out of reach. That's what I'm referring to. That kind of feeling. Oh, if I could only, well, it is yours, and it's actually just showing you right now that it's yours, that feeling is yours, that, oh, I would like that feeling. And it's making it seem like you can get to that feeling by something that you actually can't get in the parent world. It seems like you can't get it, right? Because you don't have the money for it. Let's say you want a new car. I talked to some people just yesterday. They thought they wanted a truck. And oh, that would be such a relief. And I could tell the relief that they seem to be projecting for getting this new car. It's the same thing. When I'm witnessing someone seeming like they're going to get relief if they get something, that also seems like they're not going to get it. You know, that's what they're reflecting to me, that it seems like it's way too expensive and they're just not going to get it. But man, it would feel real good to get that right now, right? And then just like in allowing that feeling to be, it's like I join you in that. I join you in having that feeling right now that you want. And that doesn't have to come out as any words or anything like that. It's just like I join you right now in having that, right? So yeah, Lori, it's not about not buying something, it's noticing when it seems like it's out of reach. In the case where it seems like it's out of reach, and the feeling that manifests when it seems like that thing is out of reach. Because that is a key to learning how to get these really uplifting, awesome feeling sensations all day long, which you deserve. I mean, they're both illusions, right? But if you're using the upset feelings, if you're using the wishing, the hoping, all those kinds of feelings for getting that deeper sensation, you're not on the surface flitting around confused, wondering if I did it right and all this different stuff. You're going deeper into the awareness of there is no doer here. When you're in the awareness of there is no doer here, you're not worried about whether anything's getting bought or how much it costs or whether it's not getting bought or anything like that. It's not a thing. You're not worried about whether someone's talking about you either. Like, that doesn't even matter, right? For me, it's like, if people are talking about me, I'm not really that interested too, right? Like, I'm not interested to go join those groups. No Hope, I heard one of them was called. I'm not interested to go join the groups either. I'm not inviting them to have their chat over at my house or something. Thank you, Hope. Yes, I'm not feeling the pressure. I'm not feeling the pressure. I don't like living in chaos. I just was not joyful when I saw this sick man on Facebook. Yeah, you don't know, you don't know about the sickness. All you know is that you're projecting sickness. That's all. And got caught up in that story. It was interesting how disturbed I got. I do know all things work together for good, for you and for all. They're all working together for good for anyone that man is interacting with, or anything at all. And even if someone interjects themselves in there, apparently that's also working together for good. So it's not like anything is left out, right? If I seem to want a $70,000 necklace, it's all for good. And I have had that experience before. I was like, why can't I have that necklace? $70,000 necklace. I think Akea knows which one I'm talking about too. Why didn't I marry someone who could buy me $70,000 necklace? What the fuck am I doing? It's just fun, right? And like, when we call them out, we call these apparent issues out, then we can see what's going on, because this stuff actually plays underneath the surface. As insane as it sounds, I know, I like to bring it up because I know it sounds insane, but this is how it is. The mind has gone insane, and all of its thoughts are based on insanity. Thank you. I will not murder him. That's very nice. I'm joking. But seriously, thank you. Yeah. It's it's an adventure. This life is an adventure. It's like you're seeing it just coming up. It's just bubbling up. And you don't know what you're going to do. You don't know what kind of situations you could find yourself in. But one thing is for certain, you never have to worry about anything, and you never have to try to understand anyone's actions or your own actions. You don't have to try to find out if you're doing it right, or if you've done the right thing before, or if someone else is doing it right, or if it's okay if you told that person not to talk to you anymore. None of it even happens. Of course it's all okay. And look, this is what people get scared of. There's going to be a bunch of murders and child molesters and everything else if everything is all okay. But what I'm telling you is these manifestations are actually coming from the idea that things cannot be okay, that things could possibly not be okay, the possibility of them not being okay. Making that possibility real actually makes the manifestations. Okay, so then it seems like in order to get rid or fix the manifestation, stop people from molesting, stop people from murdering, and so on, we erect jails, put people in jail. Again, nothing wrong with that. It's what seems to happen to have to be because of the way the mind made the illusions. And as long as that's the case, that's the case. There's nothing you can do about it. It's just the way that we set it up. We set it up like, okay, if you murder, you go to jail or something like that. That's not going to help stop murders. That's actually going to multiply murders. Okay. And it's quite possible that those who are at the top making laws about jail and everything like that know this. Know it's only going to multiply things, because it's not like people are dumb. It's like the people who are apparently ruling this apparent world actually know about how physics work and stuff like that. The general public doesn't, though. So the general public just ends up getting fooled on everything. Okay. So Americans are running around, especially Americans, most of them with a whole bunch of what appears to be excess fat on them. Guess what? It's not even fat. It's not fat. It's stress. People have been stressing out. People getting stressed out. Okay. And for certain compositions, mental states, that manifests as bulging fat, appearance of bulging fat. And, even in like the scientific realm, there's no extra fat being added on past puberty. There's no extra fat being added on. It's stress being added on. And stress makes this manifestation like things being choked off. Okay. Either way, extra thin, not enough weight, too much weight. It's all just manifesting stress. And it's all just an interpretation. And it's like, this is known. It seems to be telling a bunch of people to be counting calories. That makes no sense. It makes absolutely no sense at all. And people make illusions about it. I starved myself out for 2 weeks and then I lost 5 pounds. You still never got satisfaction. You still never got comfort or satisfaction. You still never escaped the fear that it was going to blow up again, or the fear that it was going to get scrawny again. Okay, you never escaped the deformity that comes through thinking in separation. You never escape that by counting calories. That's a total distraction. Look, you can get something and put it on your arm and you can pay attention to calories. Okay. Look, if you find yourself doing that, again, there's nothing wrong with it. You're thinking that the calories mean something. So take that to the thought. It's meaningless. It's a meaningless thought. It means nothing. We make calories mean something. People get fatter. That's how it goes. I remember when I was younger, someone was telling me, I'm never going to start dieting, because every person who I've seen start dieting, they get really fat. And they're like, I'm never going to try to start dieting. Right? It's a setup, you guys. And then it's like here, drink this diet soda, right? Here, drink this diet soda. It's got low calories in it. And then people are finding out they're getting the effects with the diet soda. Of course, it's all projected from the mind, but getting the effects from diet soda, like the diet soda is now killing them. You're just going to get the effects like something is killing you as long as you think that something can kill you, right? As long as we're projecting that something can kill us, we're getting the perception that something is killing us. Everything that we seem to use can all be used for killing or for healing. It's always our choice in the moment. So it doesn't really matter what it is. If you find yourself counting calories, laugh with that. It's not to try to stop it. It's to laugh with that. It's a habit. You can't help it. You're making this meaningful over and over again, as if counting calories is going to get you what you need. Oh, that's a device for making you distracted and anxious. Okay. It using that device using that device like that. And there's different ways to use it. Like I said, if you're using it in a way where you're going, oh, look, this seems like it's meaningful, like I can count calories to Radiant Health or something like that. If you're just watching it like that, you're using it for undoing the mind. Then it becomes a, like anything can be used for healing. Say you got the Fitbit on and you're looking at the calories and you're just holding it lightly, but letting it play out. No need to be violent. No need to be aggressive with the mind. It's like a child at play. A thought triggers me. What if me not doing anything about it makes him continue hurting and raping? You're making cause and effect into something. You're making cause and effect into something. Okay. And you're asking, am I a coward for not doing anything? I just said, you need do nothing. You're not capable of doing anything. So that question is from the ego. Okay. Here's what cowardice really looks like. Okay. It's like you get a thought that says, am I a coward for not doing anything? Will you use that thought for healing? Will you use that thought for healing? Okay. What would be cowardly is to be pursuing that thought and trying to figure it out. Am I a coward? That's cowardly. Here comes the thought. Am I a coward for doing nothing? And are you going to be a coward and pursue that thought? That's where the cowardice comes in. Okay? Because it takes creativity. It takes you making a decision for reality to let that thought be seen as meaningless. Okay? You don't do anything, so you can't be a coward about that. I don't get why when I'm stressed or believing these fearful thoughts, I lose weight because I don't eat much. I cannot make sense of this in what you say. Well, you know what? The illusion is total nonsense. Okay? It's complete nonsense. It makes no sense at all. You can find yourself stressed. Watch this, Lori. You could probably make sense of this. You can find yourself stressed and seem to be eating less and losing weight. And then in another instance, you go, oh, I just need to eat as less as I did when I was stressed, and it'll work just the same. And watch your illusions. Watch how you make your illusions like that. Okay. So it's totally just projecting. Look, if you get stressed and find yourself losing weight, what happens when you perceivably, the stress is not really going away, but perceivably you become less stressed. Then what happens? You eat a bunch of food and gain it back? Is it that yo-yo effect? That's what I'm guessing. Okay. No, it doesn't work like that. The stress seems to eat up what is eaten. Yes, it's a yo-yo. Yes. Yeah. So yeah, so you get a sense, oh, the stress is good, right? Oh, good, this is good. It's eating up all the fat, right? But it's just, I think what people see over the years is they just progressively get bigger and bigger and bigger. They seem to lose weight when they get stressed. They progressively, though, seem to gain weight. That's also really common, but not the rule for sure. Like I said, it's chaotic. It'll show you something and I'll be like, oh, since it worked like this, it works like this. No, it's not like that. So in your case, you can eat a bunch and then it just gets used. It's like it got used for energy, right? Yeah. That's what you can say. Okay, this is how this thing is working. It seems to be using a lot more for energy. Great. That changes too. I know people used to do speed when I was in high school to lose weight over the weekend. They get real stressed out. That's basically just like getting real stressed out. That's how it was for me anyways when I tried it. And then I think in their case they weren't eating. It never worked out good for anyone. Right? It never really worked out good for anyone. It's like all of this stuff, it's meant to be enjoyed. It's not meant to be all calculated out like that. That's what I noticed about all these diets where you have to calculate it out. It's such a distraction. You can't even enjoy your life. Likewise, it's a distraction to try to calculate out what everyone's doing and what you're supposed to be doing and all that kind of stuff. Look at all the distractions. How could you hear the voice of God when you got all these distractions? And the voice is always speaking to you. Like, it's just a matter of opening up through these distractions, being willing to see that they are distractions. That's all it is. Seems like there's a thought when stressed out that I know eating won't make weight come on, but the thoughts are complete opposite when I'm not stressed. When you're not stressed, it's like you can't enjoy. Sorry, Lori. It's like, sorry, Lori, you can't enjoy anything. Right? The only time eating's not going to make you fat is when you are stressed out, right? And then when you can relax and enjoy food, that's when it's going to make you fat. It's good stuff. It's a good story. Get your release. That's the thing. Like, don't even care about the weight on the body. Just get your release. Really. Yeah, I was messing around recently. The weight went under 100 pounds, right? And I'm like, I don't know, 5'4" or something like that. The weight went under 100 pounds. It's like, and there's a sense like, holy shit, is it just gonna keep on going down? You know, like, where's this train going? And immediately I just got relief from that. It's like, man, it's the same exact thing as overweight, underweight, whatever it is. Just leave it alone. Just leave it all alone. And it's such a relief to go, that's right. I don't have to worry about that. I don't have to be concerned about where my weight is going. Like, who cares? Try to eat more, or try to eat more when I don't feel like eating more, right? Try to make myself, and basically as browbeating myself with thoughts. Oh, you got to eat more. You got to gain weight. Your mom is worried about you. It's funny. And then the weight seemed to just like come back on in a couple days. It's so fast. It's so fast. It's just a matter of, would I keep this thought that says I have to do something? No, because I love my brothers and sisters and I don't want to put that thought on them. So that's back to what you're asking about, Zabri, about the prayer. I don't want to put that thought onto them. Every thought that I follow, I put onto all my brothers and sisters. I don't want to pray like that. And we're always praying. So, hooray, everyone. Does anyone have any questions or anything to add? Okay, I'm having a retreat on Saturday. If you're a local person, please come. I love you, Goda. It is going to be amazing. I'm going to be sharing with the block. I'll show you how to get a rib release if you want one. No, I don't know how to get one. It's just a matter of you just loosen up, you know, and then all of a sudden it gets to a certain amount of looseness and pop, right? And then it's like, and then it's like, right? But you don't have to go there. You can go with the limbs first. And when you're working the limbs, there's only just like really mellow releases like that. We're also going to have hot tubs all around, which I love. Just getting in the hot tub in between blocking, cranial work, stuff like that. So yeah, yay. It's lovely to hear from you, Margaret. Niall, I love you. Thank you so much for joining, everyone. And I'll be back for in-person, or not in-person, online next Monday. In person, I think I announced last time, canceled. We're not having in person right now. It may come up after I get back from mainland, which will be late September. And if that happens, who knows where it's going to be. But definitely it has to be hosted well. That's the thing. This time it's going to be hosted well for me to do it. That means someone's going to come and prepare the space before. They're going to clean up afterwards, make sure there's enough room for guests are comfortable, the place is quiet, stuff like that. So if that comes up, then I'll be doing wisdom dialogues in person. If not, I'm always having wisdom dialogues in my mind, so it doesn't really matter. I love talking to you, but don't totally need to do it in a designated space. And I'll still be on Wisdom Dialogues online. If you feel called to donate, please do. I do pay every month to be on Wisdom Dialogues online. It's like 86 bucks a month. So anything you guys would like to help with, you can do that on my website, hopejohnson.org. There's a donate tab there, or you can send it to hopejohnson@me.com via PayPal. Yay. Thank you. I love you. My retreat is this, or our, actually it's Melee Kai's retreat, not my retreat. I'm just over there offering what I got. And Melee Kai is a lovely host. She's done many retreats. Okay. She has a lot more experience than me. I'll also have essential oils. I'll have Miracle Botanicals there. And people who sign up can get some free essential oils for me too. Isn't that so fun? So check it out. Email me if you don't know where the information is, hopejohnson@me.com. And until next week, mahalo, aloha. I love you all. Thank you so much. Ahui ho.